How's it going, everybody? Just getting started over here. Welcome to RotoPros Afternoon NBA Rundown, Wednesday, March 20th. Sorry for being a little bit later than anticipated today, but happy to be here nonetheless. Let me just get ready to share so you guys can tune in. Hold on, whatever. It doesn't need to be live. All right, anyway. All right, cool. Let's start with the point guard position tonight. As I spoke about in my article earlier today, Russell Westbrook makes for the top play of the evening. He's coming off of a suspension for technical fouls accrued, so he should be nice and fresh tonight. He'll be matching up with a Kyle Lowry-less Raptor team, which always makes for interesting usage bumps for Fred VanVleet and Kawhi Leonard. But anyway, we'll focus on Russ. The top play of the night. I expect him to arguably be the top scorer on the slate. Moving also down to Damian Lillard, 8,800. His price makes no sense. With CJ McCollum out now, Damian Lillard, it's his team. It's Dame time, as we like to say, up in Portland. But Lillard, his usage last game, let's pull that up right now. I know it was great, but I want to reference the exact number. His usage is funny. His usage was only 29.2. But the game before that, when McCollum went down, it was up at 35. So that's, I think, a season high or not a season high, but close. Damian's usually around 35 in his best games. So I expect somewhere his usage to be north of 30 tonight. He had 30 points and 15 dimes last game. So Lillard is more than capable of carrying this offense. Just similar to when John Wall went down, how Bradley Beal was very underpriced. It's kind of the same situation here with Lillard. McCollum is now out, so Lillard is the guy. His usage, he'll be relied upon for everything: scoring, facilitating, you name it. James Harden as well. He's not my favorite play tonight, but he definitely makes for a nice contrarian GPP option. Eric Gordon's going to be sitting this one out, but Chris Paul will be there, so it's not like Harden's a jam him in play. Eric Bledsoe was great last night, but it looks like Giannis will be back tonight, I believe. So that takes Bledsoe out of play for me. Yeah, Giannis is questionable. We'll see. Obviously, if Giannis is out, then just as last night, those Milwaukee semi-stars like Bledsoe and Middleton are in play. Moving all the way down, Shaq Harrison makes for a good play tonight for the Bulls. We have most likely no Levine, and is Chris Dunn playing? Let's find out. Chris Dunn will be there, but no Levine and no Otto Porter. So extra usage to go around for Chicago in a fast-paced matchup with Washington. Fred VanVleet, we discussed. He was already returning from injury a couple games ago, but now Kyle Lowry out. He'll have a usage bump. I don't know. That's Memphis. Thomas Satoransky, he's always in play, especially going against the Bulls plus matchup there. Dwayne Wade is another guy I'm keeping my eye on. Moving over to shooting guard. A lot of the same guys in terms of Harden. Actually, no, not really a lot of the same guys. So I like Russell, and he's just a point guard. But Bradley Beal, almost every slate these days. For some reason, his price is just not 10K like it should be. So I love Bradley Beal in a plus matchup at Chicago. That could be one of the high-scoring games of the night. Chris Middleton again. If Giannis happens to be out, then immediately shoots Middleton and Bledsoe into play, and almost everyone in that starting lineup. Fred VanVleet, Thomas Satoransky, the usual suspects. I'm a Damian Dotson fan. He's one of the few consistent plays on the Knicks. Jalen Brunson is too expensive for me these days. Pat Connaughton. Jeremy Lin will be in play with no Kyle Lowry. Tyler Dorsey just got bumped up from the G League, and it must mean there's no Mike Conley tonight for him to even be popping up on my radar. So I would throw him in the player pool as well. Moving over to small forward, Giannis definitely does make for a good play if he does, in fact, play tonight. So keep an eye on that situation, as any matchup with Cleveland is always worth attacking from a DFS perspective. I like one of Paul George or Westbrook. I prefer Westbrook, but Paul George is a nice GPP option. He's definitely coming off of a nice game with Russ suspended, so he's probably feeling pretty good. Kawhi Leonard, 8,400. That's a great play tonight with no Kyle Lowry. He should at least be 9K. in that situation. Luka Doncic, I like Luka on every matchup, on every slate, if he's going to be less than 9K. So that's more of a GPP option, though. Is just better value out there. Chris Middleton, we've discussed, and why. Marcus Morris, he'll be in my player pool, but his price is going up a little bit to the point where his upside doesn't really match it. Shaq Harrison on DraftKings, point guard, small forward eligibility, so he's in play. JJ Redick coming off his best game of the season, but Joel Embiid's most likely back tonight, so I don't really see the point of that. Damian Dotson we discussed, and Dinwiddie House, 3,900 on DraftKings. He should get the start tonight with no Eric Gordon, so he's definitely in play. Mario Hezonja, he's a decent option down to 3,700. He's been getting some good run lately for the Knicks. The Knicks have nothing to play for and are very inconsistent with their minutes, so I would call that nothing more than a GPP dart. Again, Pat Connaughton in the Milwaukee bench, depending on who's inevitably ruled out for the Bucks tonight, other than potentially Giannis. Power forward, Giannis, Paul George, Kawhi, a lot of the usual suspect. Julius Randle is having a massive end to the year. So we'll see if AD plays tonight. I believe he should, but either way, Julius is taking plenty of shots for them and really stuffing the stat sheets. So he's becoming an end of the season must. Lauri Markkanen makes for a wonderful play tonight, especially if LaVine and Otto Porter is definitely missing out, but I think LaVine was still questionable. So if LaVine's ruled out like I expect, I think Markkanen's one of the better players on the slate. And I don't mind running that back, like a Markkanen Beal or Markkanen Trevor Ariza situation. Ariza's too cheap, so he's another option that I'm a fan of in this game. Al Horford, I like his necessity tonight. They're going to need him to match up with the big Sixers. Seti Osman, depending on the last Seti, depending on how many the injuries on Cleveland. I think there's like 6 or 7 guys who are questionable, so we'll see what happens there. Closer to lock. Bobby Portis isn't really somebody that's like popping off the charts for me, but I have a soft spot for the revenge narrative against Chicago, whom he really didn't leave under good circumstances. It looks like it's going to be, I think Mirotic may miss the game tonight, and Ersan too, because DJ Wilson is popping up on my radar. So at 3,100, if he's due for more than 25 minutes against Cleveland, I love him tonight. I think that's a great play. Check Diallo. Anthony Davis is out, so Check Diallo should also be in play tonight. Yeah. Any slate that AD isn't on, Check Diallo always seems to find his way in there. Moving over to center, Nikola Vukovic is one of my favorite plays on the slate. It's going to be a very fast-paced, high-scoring game with New Orleans with no Anthony Davis. That leaves the middle a lot more exposed than it would be with the big man down there. Joel Embiid, any slate he's on and he's got no restrictions, I'm fine with him at this price, 10K. He's been completely fine coming back from the injury, and especially coming off of a load management situation. Joel Embiid, one of my favorite plays on the slate. Julius Randle, as we mentioned, but especially with Anthony Davis out, there's a ton of extra. He could go for his 50, 60, 70-point night. Nurkic is someone who's a little bit under the radar, but could also benefit from the CJ McCollum absence, although I expect more usage to be kind of going to Dame, just in the sense of a guard is the one who got injured, so it makes sense for a guard to kind of absorb that usage more than a center, which is kind of common sense, but I do think Nurkic will still garner some extra usage and scoring responsibility. DeAndre Jordan with a great matchup against Utah tonight. I just don't like to play the Knicks with how inconsistent the coaching has been and the minutes distribution. But DeAndre Jordan does have a plus matchup with Utah, and 5,700 is very, very cheap. DJ Wilson, Check Diallo, we already discussed. That's pretty much it for me tonight, guys. Sorry for being a little late today. I'll record these earlier in the day usually. But join us in the RotoPros chat to kind of discuss more in detail closer to lock. Thank you. Have a great day.